Hi, I'm John Everts from California Leasing, and welcome to Agents in Community, where we highlight real estate agents who are making a positive difference in their little corner of the universe. Martin, you've got your friend here. You're going to do the introduction?
I would love to. So, first of all, welcome to Rebecca Mendoza.
Thank you.
Who, we go back a long time. Rebecca and I have been working in and out of the same offices throughout the years, but basically a 20-year history of knowing
and
her.
I'll tell you, when he talks about you when you're not around, it's all nice.
I'm sure he's beaming.
Honestly, he respects you.
And I also want to throw props out to another person who's not here with us today, which is her mom, Judy, who's also part of her team.
That's
so
right.
Rebecca and Judy have always done their real estate together.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I would say, everything we're going to hear about her in just a minute, I got to throw props to Judy because she taught her everything she knows. So,
well,
and she'll be the first to claim it. But
yeah, in life maybe, but in real estate, I actually brought her in.
But anyways,
okay.
but we love your mom, and I know she's not here with us today, but 'cause she had another commitment. But we certainly want to get into talking about your work in the nonprofit sector. But before we get into that, I want to say, look, she understands the Santa Clarita community pretty much better than anybody else. Having worked out here, having worked in the restaurant businesses out here, connecting with other business owners. She knows a lot of business owners out here, which we'll also get into here in just a moment. But Rebecca is a realtor who is committed to seeing Santa Clarita becoming a better place.
Yes.
And I think that kind of brings us to how we started talking about your recent work with this nonprofit agency. So I'm going to introduce Pleasant View Industries.
Pleasant View Industries.
Tell me about Pleasant View Industries. Who are they and what's going on over there?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate you introducing it because Pleasant View Industries is a nonprofit, local nonprofit, born and here in Santa Clarita 55 years ago. We're celebrating 55 years this year, and it's not very well known. So
why are you guys?
I think you said it's a well-kept, best.
Yeah,
secret.
we thought we were the best kept secret in our nonprofit at one time. So how
That's
come
right.
there's such a secret? Continue on.
Well, so they have been around for 55 years, and the mission of the nonprofit and who we work for is the employment and the integration into community of adults with developmental disabilities. And so it was started, like I said, 55 years ago with some families who came together and decided that they wanted to give some opportunity to integrate their children coming out of high school.
Families with people with special needs that got together to support each other.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so what they did was, as the kids were going through high school, they were seeing like, well, what do we do? We've got programs for high school students and things to be connected to community.
So the school districts have these programs, but that's the limit.
That's right. Yeah. So school districts, you've got special programs and things like that,
Right.
and we've always had children with special needs in schools, and so they were connected through schools, but then they were seeing as the kids were graduating and moving out, they were losing connection. And we had talked about before how a lot of times these families, their social circles kind of get a little small because they're really focused on their children and all of that. And if you don't have these outside activities, then you really kind of get isolated and you're not really engaging with a lot of the community.
You know what's crazy is how obvious it is to me now that you said it. Like, I've never thought about the kids with special needs in
Right.
schools
Yeah.
becoming adults, and then what happens?
Then
Yeah.
what?
Exactly.
And kids in school, that's what, 6 hours in a day, maybe 8 hours if there's after school activities.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're giving them opportunities that go beyond the borders of a school.
That's right.
So I want to go back real quick though to the beginning. You said they've been around 55 years. Was it a particular founder, a particular family that started this? Do you know?
That's a good question.
Okay.
And I don't know the
Well, I won't
answer
press you
to
on
it.
that, but it starts though a long time ago.
Right.
We're talking what, 1969, 1970?
1969. It was.
Okay.
It was founded. Yeah.
It was a very different view of the world back
totally.
then.
Yeah.
When you're talking about disabilities in general. I mean, the ADA acts even were very new. So to have a founder who has a vision that we're talking about them now 55 years later is phenomenal.
Yes.
Okay, so we definitely want to continue to get the word out, but I wanted to establish that because there's a lot of growing pains that goes there and kind of bucking the system to get acceptance and get people
Well,
somewhat acclimated.
and get laws passed that will support those families and in those we call them clients, and also getting funding for people to be able to engage in other activities, because it's the world is set up for able-bodied people most of the time, and when you want to be more inclusive, sometimes that takes funding from other outside sources.
Totally.
So a lot, honestly, for the past X amount of years, a lot of the funding has come from government and from those kind of programs.
Like government grants.
Correct.
Government agencies,
Yeah, and the public donations and outreach really has been limited mostly to the families and the
inner circle.
friends and families of the
Yeah.
inner circle, and then the
Yeah.
people who come because they're the ones who champion it, And so I am on the board of Realtors. This is my first month as president of the board, and I don't want to say the old board, but the previous board members had been there for decades. And so they did a great job, and it had traction, but it grew very, very slowly.
Well, when you have the same directors on the board for a long time, you're not going to have a lot of change.
That's right.
So it's like whatever they're doing at the time, they just keep doing it, and especially if it's working, right?
Right.
So how did you get involved?
Well, thank you. Honestly, I was friends with who is now the current executive director. Her name is Ricky, and she shared with me when she got the job. She shared with me, what they did and who they were. And initially, I was excited because I thought, well, that's fantastic. Just like you, I was like, wow, I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
And I have a nephew with autism. Now he's severe autism, and he'll never really work or do anything like that. But I did see, because I'm in that family, I did see the needs, and I thought, man, that's a really great program to get interested in. And she said, well, we're looking to expand the board, and if you're looking for something to do and someplace to contribute, we would love for you to check us out. So I came, and I went to a couple of meetings, and I really liked what they were up to. It was in alignment with what I already love about real estate. So in real estate, I love to obviously help my clients sell properties and buy properties.
Right.
And my business has always come by referrals. I've been in the business 25 years next year, which I feel sounds so long. But so it really does.
You blink and here we are.
So
right?
I've been doing this for 25 years, and the majority.
I think I've known you 20 of those.
I'm sure, maybe even more.
Yeah.
I think time flies
okay.
quickly. But where I get the bulk of my business is through referrals, and who I network with mostly in those referrals are other business owners. We call it business to business, right?
Right.
Because we provide value to each other. So I love to refer. I am a connector. I love to refer business to other people. So naturally, that's how it comes back to me. So Pleasant View, what they are is we are somewhat of an employment agency or employment supporter for the adults with the disabilities to get jobs in the community. So half of the people that we serve aren't just the adults with disabilities, they are the business owners within Santa Clarita who will hire these people.
Yeah.
So let me interrupt you here because I want to make sure I got the execution of the mission down. So the families, they would enroll their kid or loved one in your program,
Right.
and you're helping to place them with employment
Yes.
at a business owner. So there's two connections. One is business owners have to then come to you and say, hey, I have a job opening
Yes.
that we're willing to do with you. And then on the other hand, you're looking to pair them up. Now, there's a match game that has to go on here because not every disability is suitable for every employment. So
Right.
you guys have a lot to do with that. Walk us through some of the logistics of the coordination that you're doing. You're connecting the business owner and
so a lot of it is like you're talking about like the day-to-day operations, right?
Well, I don't need to get so granular,
Sure.
but give me the big picture
Well,
here.
so
as to how
like
this
the big
works.
picture really is, if you take a company that may do manufacturing, we have a lot of that. Like you're in this area right here, we've got a lot
The
of
industrial
companies
park,
that
sure.
exactly where we do a lot of manufacturing, and some of those things are not some are machine driven, and some are little, people. We need people to do those things, and it's the repetitive jobs and the things that are very assembly line type of things. That is one possible occupation that's perfect for somebody because they will, so the employers usually have a lot of spots for that. They have people who they want to bring in to be able to sit and I don't want to say be bored, but I mean, come
Right.
on, let's face it.
Right.
So they might come to us and seek and say, this is who I'm looking for, and then we'll have some people that might match for them. A big part of the reason that I'd love to get exposure for this, because I don't think enough small businesses know that this
No way.
exists.
Right.
There's
Yes.
no way they do.
No, and
Right.
it's a win-win for both, because so we've got different programs, but two main ones, and one is an internship. So if you were to hire one of them as an intern, Pleasant View pays their salary. So they get paid, usually it's minimum wage or somewhat about there. They get paid minimum wage as an intern from us. You're not paying because it's an internship. And our desire is that you find value in their employment and you hire them. You
That's
take them
awesome.
on as an employee. And the second one is it's supported employment. So we have job coaches. So if you hire someone, we have a job coach that goes along with them to the job site. You train both of them in essence, and then the job coach will stay with the employee until they really get the hang of the job. And sometimes they stay with them for a very long time. And the goal of that is for an employer, we want you again to hire these people. And we want to make it efficient and effective for you so that you're not taking extra time, because time is money when you're training, right?
So who are these job coaches? Are they volunteers?
That's what I was going to
Well, they're not volunteers; they're actually employed.
Okay.
So they
Employed by your
they're
agency.
employed by
Okay,
Pleasant View,
okay.
exactly, and they have different backgrounds and they're trained in different
Oh, wow.
areas. But mainly they can be flexible to any kind of job role that would be suitable for the client to be working.
Okay, so let me ask you: if a client gets eventually hired by the employer, you make that transition.
Yes.
Are they still connected with you
Yes.
guys? It's not like they're leaving your agency.
No, that's a
They're-
great question.
so-
Yeah, and that's another thing I
'Cause
think
there's
that's a
other things
benefit.
maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
is that we will come in and we can give continuing education
Oh,
to
wow.
to both parties, but mainly to the employee. We also can support. If there's any kind of we got to look at the negative side of employment sometimes, right?
Sure.
Sometimes people have to be spoken to, advised. You've got. Whatever kind of issues with any kind of employee where you might have
Right.
to
Counsel
reprimand
them
them
or,
or
yeah.
counsel them.
Yeah.
So we come in and help do that.
Help
So that
facilitate that.
100%.
That's pretty valuable.
Well, yeah, and because that is kind of, I believe, a potential fear
Totally.
for
Of
employers,
employers.
or they're like, oh, now I'm going to get stuck, and now it's somebody with a disability,
They say a
maybe
fear
it's a
of
little
ADA
bit
laws
scarier,
and all
of
that,
that
yeah.
stuff, which
Yeah.
is actually why when you work with us, it's a benefit, because we're the ones who take on the responsibility
And coach them.
that those are followed, and so you actually have more support in that area, so you don't have to worry about it.
This is an amazing
I know,
organization.
it really
I mean, it's so much that you guys are doing, so much that you're offering. I can see you growing, and I'm so glad we're getting the word out, because I don't understand how the organization is 55 years old. John, you and I have been in this community over 20 years, and neither one of us had heard of them. And I will tell you, I have very close friends of mine that have children with special needs, adult children too, and I've seen other programs, but I've never heard of this, and I love what you guys are doing.
Great.
Me
Love
too.
what you're
and
doing.
when we were talking before we started filming, you explained why no one knows about it. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But the reason you're on the board is
It's
to
time.
help change that.
That's
Change the
right.
wave.
So you know what I'm going to ask?
Go for it.
Look, you always need money at nonprofits.
Yes.
So if you need a place to put some cash to do good, get a hold of Rebecca and she'll tell you how to give her money. But
Give
what-
the organization the money.
Yes.
Rebecca will take your money too, but
I
she'll,
mean,
but
you
she'll
still
sell
drive over
you
there
she'll
and
sell you a
take
house.
your
But
collection.
yes, you're
But,
fine.
but aside from money, if this really speaks to somebody's heart and they want to get involved, is there a way for someone to get involved with this organization?
Yes, what we would love to connect you with. Come and check out what the board is doing.
Okay.
Come and speak to us. Really, what we're looking for is exposure. I really appreciate you having me on here, because this is I believe this is the first time, as the president, that I'm definitely as the president, but the first time I've been on the board that I've come and spoken about it. And what I want most is the spotlight. I want people to know that we're here, know what we
Yeah.
do, especially not just for the money and donations.
Right.
I want the families who could benefit from this to know that we exist.
Yep.
So what I ask is if you have a family member or a friend who's got a family member who this company, this nonprofit could support, I would love to give me a call.
And
Let
more
me know.
interest.
I'd love to
that.
connect. Also, even more importantly, is the
The
businesses.
business owners.
If you own a business and there's any possible, and you do hiring or anything like that, I would love to have a conversation with you and connect you with the people just to see if there's a possibility for you, because the business owners also know other business owners. So the
And
more
what's
people
the
I'm
worst
connected
case?
with, the best.
Here's my business, and you say, well, I don't know that that's a good match. That's worst case.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, might as well.
Yeah, everybody should be talking to them about
Totally.
this.
Yeah.
This is
makes
awesome.
sense.
Yeah.
Love it.
And also, lastly, if there's any, there's so many nonprofits that operate in Santa Clarita, you
Yeah.
know, and the thing is that there's a lot of people who would like to participate. If this does speak to you, we are looking to grow with some events and some things like that. So if you have a skill set for creating events or for, anything that might be able to contribute to the exposure,
Yeah.
any thing that we might want to participate in, like had a booth at the Alzheimer's Walk, and we had we have booths that we've joined the Chamber of Commerce, and
Yeah.
so we're getting exposure out
So you
there.
do more
and
volunteers
via-
and stuff. So
and-
not just a board member, but it could be just somebody who wants to volunteer.
thank you. That's one that we'll end with this. Besides employment, actually, if you have any kind of volunteer opportunities that you need people to come and volunteer, like serving
Oh.
pancakes at the 4th of July breakfasts or things like that, this is another opportunity for them
Oh.
to get into the community. So if
Interesting.
you've got anything like that, call me up.
Oh, man,
We will.
There's a ton of opportunity for
There is.
collaboration between nonprofits right
Yeah.
now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Your-
could talk
your
about this
organization-
all day.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Your,
I'd
your
like to-
organization is
Please
going to
bring me
continue to
back.
grow and,
Yeah.
and do a
We'll
good deed.
definitely
And
will get you back.
it's you mentioned there's a lot of nonprofits in this community, and they're all very worthy. Everyone's
Yes.
got their little niche, but
Yeah.
that's the fabric of this community, and that's what makes this community better. I love it.
100.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
John.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
I
have
mean,
any closing.
thank you guys for watching, and this is why we do Agents in Community, because there are people like Rebecca out there making the world we live in a better place, and there's opportunities to be involved with her. So any questions? Also about real estate. If you want to buy or sell a house.
Oh, yeah, I
get
do
a
that
hold
too.
of Rebecca. But if you want to find out why she's doing this work and what it means to her and how maybe you can be involved, get a hold of her, and we'll see you next time on Agents in Community.
Thank you.